Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Cathy and Shania. I'm your host, Cathy, and I'm excited to have you join us today for an exciting episode titled Bridging the Gap. This episode is brought to you by C1 Productions. With me, I have my panelists for today. How are you doing, all of you?
Doing
We're
well.
good.
Okay, they'll be joining me to explore today's topic and share their unique perspective. Going to start with an opening question addressing the common challenges couples faces in relationship. So I'm going. What are some of the common reasons couples experience gaps or distance in their relationship? Reasons why couples experience gap in their relationship. What's your take on that?
First thing comes to mind is
Mm-hmm.
lack of communication. Uncommunicated expectations could be a cause for gaps.
Okay. What about you, Josh?
I was thinking about the background they both grew up in. There must be a gap when it comes to experiences. So yeah, the experiences, the gap, yeah, expectations.
Okay, so for you, it's based on like the common reasons is one of them is the level of expectations, right?
Yeah, the upbringing, the background, family. Yeah, I think that's a factor.
Fritz said about the communication. That's when you change the level of communication in a relationship. Uh, there's going to be challenges because you have to speak out your emotions, your feelings, and everything to be heard. The next question I'm going to you, George, first. How do you manage your anger when you're angry? How do you manage it? Do you walk away? Do you sleep? Do you go work
Okay.
out? How do you do it?
In the context of our relationship, right? So
Yeah.
what I do right now is what we call the 5 minute rule. I will just tell my wife,
Mhm.
just hold on for 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then think of empathetic thoughts for the next 5 minutes. I would elicit like curiosity, like why it happened this way. Maybe I would go out again and talk with a better tone. That's how I manage.
Does it work for you?
Sometimes I just walk away and say, I'll be back.
After how many hours? 5 or 10 hours or 3?
Or yeah, I would just go for a run.
Wow,
Around 30 minutes. Yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah.
What about you, Fritz?
In the context of the relationship that I have now, I would say have not been angry, I think, to the point of lashing out or anything. But in my experience, I tend to keep quiet and wait. We don't have a rule for as of now, but for me personally, it's keeping quiet, and because I know that being angry and then talking is never, or most of the time, not a good combination.
That's great. So you just keep quiet. As for now, you don't have a rule, but Josh has one. He walks away, or the 5 minute rule, he said. I will try that someday. You just stand there, keep quiet. I don't think I can do that. Just stand and do nothing. That's crazy. Okay, meet Jane and Josh. They have been dating happily for 6 months. And for the first 3 months, everything was good. Jane and Josh decided to take their love to the next level and moved in together, sharing their apartment that quickly felt like home. However, as the fourth month rolled in, things took a bad turn. Whenever Jane and Josh found themselves in an argument, Jane had a habit of storming out instead of working out things out together. Each time this happened, she would pull out her phone and start texting and calling her male friends. Whenever she had a disagreement with Josh, she would reach out to them and they would tell her to meet up for dinner or go for a drive, hoping to distract her from their troubles at home. One evening, after a particularly heated argument with Josh, Jane once again found herself pacing out in their apartment with a phone in her hand. She dialed Mark, a longtime friend. Mark listened to Jane as she spilled her frustration, portraying herself as the victim in her relationship with Josh. Trying to be a good friend, Mark suggested that they meet for a dinner at a nice restaurant across the town. Jane hesitated for a moment, but she eventually agreed. As the weeks went by, this pattern continued, creating a rift between Jane and Josh. The distance Jane sought during argument began to turn into a gap that seemed harder and harder to bridge. Josh, do you think moving in
Just want to make
together?
sure you're not talking about me.
Yeah,
That's Josh, right?
it's our
Anyway,
character. Do you think moving in
Josh.
together after just 3 months of dating is a good idea considering Jane and Josh's situation?
I think moving in is never a good idea. That's
Sorry?
what I
Moving
moving
in
in
is not
together. Yeah, not a good idea.
it's not a good idea,
Yes,
but you love each other.
that's for me. Even if you love each other, if you really love each other, you gotta plan for it. Get premarital counseling and get married.
Wow.
Live together.
Very,
The
very to
commitment.
the point.
Yeah.
Wow. So you think Jane and Josh made a decision moving in together?
Hmm. I think that's for me. Moving in together that early, even if they move together like after 6 months, still a bad move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think about it, Fritz?
I agree. Um, I believe that moving in together before marriage, regardless of how long you've been boyfriend or girlfriend or in a relationship, I believe that some would say it's effective, or some would say it would be like a compatibility test, but it just produces a lot more consequences than good things. So I would say, you know, um, it's not a good move.
So you won't dare do that. You're just going to move it in when you get married. That what you're saying?
Yes, after marriage. Yeah.
Well, but in current situation, I don't think people follow that rule of marriage. You have
Hmm.
to get married first to move in. Most of the couples just move in when
Yeah.
this.
That's why it's not working. Yeah. I
Right.
think they need to consider a better alternative.
True,
But
but
with
because I want to know what purpose do we want to accomplish by moving in together, like regardless of how long you've been in a relationship.
So what would be your purpose when you want like to move in together? But you said you want to move in together when you get married. For example, if you decide to move in together with your girlfriend right now, what would be your purpose? Make you do take that step?
Go ahead, Josh.
yeah, I was just asking if she's talking. Yeah. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Fritz.
it's
Okay, okay. Yes, like I said, moving in together should only take place after marriage because it's the cleaving part of the relationship, and the cleaving part of the relationship that you separate yourself from your immediate family and being one with your partner or your girlfriend is only honored and
mhm.
honorable in the sight of God under the under marriage. So if you would separate yourself and be one with your partner in flesh and whatever you do, you move in, that you're not yet, you're committing a serious sin against the sight of God. So that's what I would say on that.
Okay. What about you, Josh? What would you make you move in with your girlfriend? Let's say you're not married. What would make you move in together with your girlfriend?
What would make me move in?
Hmm?
Okay. Because I think moving in will not be an option for me.
Okay.
So it's always hard to imagine what would make me move in. But
Right.
I think if I'm not where I am with my spirituality right now, what would make me move in
Mhm.
is my desire to get something from the girl. Yeah, just to be frank, right?
Right.
Yes,
So I think that
parents.
would be my reason,
Okay.
and maybe maybe to save more money, or to be to experience quote unquote freedom
Right.
from uh, parents, or uh, from my family, just to be away. Maybe those
Right.
reasons. Yeah.
Oh,
I would agree on that, Josh, because there's a huge temptation, especially from the youth right now, to escape that responsibility with the family and just being
yeah.
independent and living
Yeah.
with their
Yeah.
partners. Yeah, whoever. So yeah, I think that's the one of the primary reasons that if we would ask the youth or anyone who was living or was planning to move in with their partner, they would want to have that kind of freedom where they will have their own house or something like that. But it's a noble and good vision or dream. But I think it should be done under the um holy marriage that is
Yeah.
before God and before the people you love.
The way God.
I think some of them would okay, because maybe especially those who have like siblings, they have
Mm-hmm.
younger siblings with them. They tend to run away from the responsibility. But even if freedom comes with responsibility, you can just sit there. Even if you are living alone, or you have some responsibility to fulfill. So if you move out because you don't want to do certain things, you might you're just going to do them because you move out. You're going to find some things. You're going um, to be responsible at some point in life. I'm coming to you first, Fritz. Uh, Do you believe that Jane portrayals of herself as a victim in her relationship with Josh is justified, or is she the more of the story? Okay, first of all, I want to ask this question. Have you ever been in an argument and you know you're the person who is wrong, and you know you're wrong, but you just portray yourself as a victim?
Can I answer the question now?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, Wella and I was talking about my girlfriend and I was talking about this the other day, that if somebody do some did something to you that is bad, or that hurt you or whatever, or made you bitter, doing something wrong after it is never justified. Like being the victim, if playing the victim and blaming the things that has been done to you badly, it was as a justification for you to do your to take your revenge or something like that. I think it's never justifiable, because if the mindset of the world would be like that, imagine how bad it would be if something bad has been done to us, and then we would use that something bad to do something bad again and pay it forward with bad things. Then definitely it's gonna be chaos.
What do you think about it, Fritz?
Yeah, so I think it it mustn't be justified. The issue should be resolved in itself internally as well.
Yeah.
and resorting to outside parties like our previous podcast would cause more problems than solving it. So that's for me.
Okay, got you. What do you think about Josh?
What was that question again? Can you say it again?
Okay. Do you believe that Jane's portrayal of herself as a victim in her relationship with Josh is justified?
Not justified. It's like what Fritz said. Doing something wrong for the wrong done to you will not make things right. So I don't think that's justified as well. They have to talk about the issue and have better conflict resolution strategies. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you've never been in an argument and you played a victim?
I can't remember a time where I played the victim.
Oh, were you younger at the time you played victim? I see that a lot, especially in women. When you find them doing something wrong, you don't want to admit to the thing they did. They will just twist the story around you, and it will come back to you, and you be the one who's in the wrong. Yeah. Okay. The next is, should friends like Mark intervene in a couple's disagreement, or is it better to let them work things out on their own? Is Mark wrong in intervening in the couple's disagreements? Anyone can answer that.
In the story you shared, Mark was a friend of uh,
Jen.
Jen, right? And they met in a fancy restaurant. Was that?
Yep.
That was. That's
So a heated argument.
yeah. But I don't think that's a nice move to meet a male friend after a heated argument. So that's
It's true.
unwise. Yeah, because honesty and openness is actually key for intimacy.
Yeah.
So she is putting their relationship at risk by meeting someone who is not her boyfriend of the opposite sex. So
She
that's
could be
dangerous,
meeting
especially for. But since they're
oh,
not yet married, I
mhm.
don't know where the direction of their relationship is going. So she could have just gone asking help from
And
counselors, yeah, maybe girlfriends or advisors or even professional counselor, a
wow.
pastoral counselor, yeah.
Do you think that will work out even if they see the counselor? Because Jen, I think, has developed this habit of calling her male friends, only male friends, when
Interesting.
she's angry. So, do you think a counselor can change her behavior? Because if
No, I
someone
think
is not ready, you can
yeah,
change
yeah.
them.
Actually, counselors doesn't change people. They're there to facilitate self awareness. So I think if Jane goes to, she would understand herself more and do something about it, the situation, the issues that might come in
Wow,
the conversation.
that's interesting. What do you think about this, Jenny?
Yeah, what was the question again?
Should friends like Mark intervene in a couple's disagreement?
No, I don't think so. If it's just a couple involved, we're talking about a relationship between a couple, and adding another person into the equation would just mix up everything. And I don't think that Jane going to a male friend would resolve the situation. She should first discuss the matter with the person she's involved in, with the person she's having an argument with, because they're the only ones who would be able to resolve the issue because it's their own issue. They don't need to get opinion from other people, especially
Mhm.
from a male friend. And I don't even understand why Jane would go to a male friend. Doesn't she have any other female friends that she can relate to? You know?
Maybe she feels close when she shares her problems with the male friends. Maybe the ladies doesn't want to hear her out.
I think that's where the gap between her and Mark would begin, because she should fix it with Josh and not go directly to Mark.
Okay. So all of you are saying like is in the wrong, and not only Mark, everyone. You should not involve, if you're a lady, you should not involve your male friends in your
I,
relationship.
Mark is a true friend indeed. He should advise Jane to go and settle it with the one she has a relationship with instead of with him. If he is a good friend indeed and just a friend, they just have a platonic relationship. That's what I think.
Or maybe he's eyeing on the relationships, so I don't think he can try to fix things because he's suggesting they go to a nice restaurant and have dinner. So there's no fixing there. Going to you, Fritz, first. What role does effective communication play in preventing the growing divide that Jane and Josh experience in their relationship?
Say you have to be willing to compromise, be vulnerable to your partner. Because if you're gonna find or resort to something else outside of the relationship, especially when it comes to attention, communication, intimacy, and whatever, if you're gonna look for that outside of the relationship, then definitely you'll create more gaps. You will not patch holes, but you'll create more. You have to be, for me personally, I have to be willing to be vulnerable. And as a man in the relationship, there could be times that you don't want to because you don't want to look weak. You don't want to humble yourself down and be willing to talk things through with your partner because you want your emotions and your feelings to be recognized and acknowledged. But if the both of you would be willing to lay down whatever that you're feeling on the table and talk about it, understand each other, take time to patch things up and see where either parties are coming from, I think that would help bridge the gap.
I agree. But how can you identify if there is communication breakdown at some point in your relationship?
It's not necessarily having no secrets, but it's just being honest. And
Yeah.
Do you have secrets?
yeah, my password in
No.
Facebook, my Instagram, my bank account password, those are secret. Like, yeah. So there could still be secrets, but you have to be honest. You really have to be honest.
Oh, I think what he's trying to say is like transparency is the key. Be open about your intentions,
Mhm.
actions, and also emotions, right?
It's just feeling like I feel like I'm not being understood, or I feel like you're not acknowledging my feelings and my emotions. She should tell Josh or yeah,
Yeah.
she should tell because it's better to be open. So Josh would understand her and not she would not assume that he should be able to understand me because I'm this and that. It's creating more gaps.
What's your take on this, Josh? Josh, not Josh. Um,
Yeah. There will be gaps, and this is a reality, but we must be willing to bridge it and not to further the gaps. I think what Fritz was saying, you have to put the effort and really be willing to do everything we can. Yeah.
Okay.
Communicate. Yeah.
Do you think being empathy plays a role in building strong connections?
Sorry.
Empathy, being empathetic.
Empathy.
Yeah. Do you think like it plays any in building strong connections
Oh,
in
definitely.
relationship?
Definitely. Empathy. Because empathy is taking the perspective of another person or your loved one. So if both people would be empathetic of each other, they would be able to adjust and connect better. Yeah, empathy.
Jenny, what's your take on the whole thing?
Yeah, so I think empathy is very important in any kind of relationship because that means that you are able to understand, you are able to know where they're coming from, and so you would be able to put yourself in their situation and understand them better and resolve any conflict that you may have.
Okay. If you on my take, I think empathy. involves like putting yourselves in other shoes and practicing active listening and asking about their emotions, how they feel, asking questions. This will like filter a deeper understanding on each other's. You're able to see each other perspectives and gap in between you two. So the next question would be: should Jane and Josh reconsider their decision to move in together, given the challenges they faced in the fourth month of their relationship? Anyone can answer that.
Should they what? Sorry again, Kathy.
Reconsider their decision to move in together.
For me, I think they should, because they should be able to resolve the initial conflict first before leveling up their relationship. Because if they're not able to sort out the situation on the get go, it can further damage the relationship when they move in, and other issues might pop up afterwards when they've already moved in. Better to resolve it firsthand before living in together, because that's a more serious that would be a more serious side of the relationship.
Yeah, because if they just they on their 3 months and they are having problems, I don't know if it will go past 5 months
Yeah,
without
I
a
think it's too
breakup.
soon. They're just dating for like 3 months only, so I think it's too soon to move in together.
Wow. What you take on this, Josh?
Moving in, reconsider.
Should they reconsider after the struggles they're having, the challenges they're facing on their fourth month of the relationship?
Yeah, I think so. They need to evaluate and really think about the direction that they want to take, and yeah, to sort out motivation, seek help for a better way of doing their relationship, and consider they should actually consider a better way. What makes other people maybe successful, they
Mm-hmm.
should see that as well, instead of doing it in their own way.
Yeah, definitely they should reconsider. Not only reconsidering the moving in part, but reconsider if they would want to continue in the relationship, because that in itself, what Jenny did to Josh, 3 months in the
Josh.
relationship.
Josh.
Josh, sorry.
Okay.
Jen, what Jenny did to Josh early in the stage of that relationship, she already um did something that very dangerous in the relation, very risky in the relationship, by meeting up with a friend, a male friend, and doing it habitually. So that in itself, for me, should make Josh reconsider his relationship with her, not just the moving in, but
Mm-hmm.
should he continue? So I think that's the question for me.
It's not Jenny, it's Jen. Jen.
Sorry, the names are too close together.
Yeah, they are. I didn't even notice them. Well, the next question would be, what advice would you give to Jen and Josh to help them bridge the growing gap in their relationship and rebuild the trust that may have been eroded in their relationship? And you have to
I
separate them because Jen has the habit of like storming out and calling her male friends or texting them, and Josh just sits there like, I think the 5 minute rule with Josh. What advice would you give them?
I would say, as a friend, I would advise them to go on a soul searching trip or something like that. Have spend some quality time together to really assess their relationship, what their life goals are, what direction they would
Mhm.
like to take,
Yeah.
and yeah, um, be open to each other, have that open communication, and let each other know what um, the problems with what their problems are with each other, and be able to take constructive criticism as well. They'd be able to gap that bridge. bridge that gap.
I'm going to ask everyone this question. I'm starting with you, Jenny. Picture this. You're in a restaurant with your husband. He's using the phone, like texting back and forth, smiling. What would be your reaction today? What would you
That
do?
yeah,
What will you do
that
in that moment?
really irritating when I'm with a person and they don't talk to me. Like when I meet up with a friend or with anybody else, I will want them to have their full focus on me and not do texting or calling. Especially when if I'm with my husband and he's like texting and smiling at the same time. At the back of my
You'll be
mind,
pissed.
I would be like, who is he talking to? Who is he texting with? And
Will you
that would
try and peep?
create an issue right then and there.
Will you try to peep and see who is who is talking to?
I would ask him directly, why would I peep? And I would know if he's being honest with me or not. So yeah, I've known him for a long time, so I would know from his actions, from the way he looks at me, if he's able to look at me straight in the eye and tell me who he's texting with. So I would know if he's lying. So if I see that he's hiding something, we would definitely have a discussion about that.
Okay. Fritz, what about you? Before you answer before you give advice to Jane and Josh, picture that scenario when you're in a restaurant and your partner is texting back and forth, smiling, maybe receiving calls, and it's your moment with her or him. Yeah, sorry, her. What would be your reaction? Will you tell them directly, or will you just wait and give them time?
For me, it depends on the time on where we're having. So, for example, if we just sat down and taking orders and or eating, I think that's fine. I think that the focus should be between us. But after we ate or we just want to relax or chill, or check our phones. That's I think I can give a bit of grace on that. But if all throughout the date she is on the phone or she is smiling or laughing from looking at her phone or you know just spending most of the time on her phone, then definitely I would reprimand her for that. Just ask, can
Who
we
are
set
you?
aside? Oh yeah, can we set aside some time?
Are you sure you're going to ask that, or are you going to ask who are you texting? Just
Who's that?
No, I could, but I don't. I try to give the benefit of the doubt first. So, um, just want to if she would be habitually going back to her phone after I reprimand or ask her to set aside the phone, then the probing is gonna move forward.
in my house, I don't know if this was present in your house or something. We had this rule: if it's dinner time, we had this like a bowl. You have to put your phone
Nice.
there. One by one, you put your phone there. Then you're going to take the phone after the dinner. Do you guys do that? No phones on the dining table. You have that rule. Do you bring your phone there?
In the family, we don't have that.
Here at home, we just don't bring it to the table too. We have kids, so we'd rather talk about our day.
What about those people who just take their phone everywhere, even in the toilet? Just be chatting.
Even
Guilty,
why they do.
What did you say,
guilty man
Fritz?
here.
Oh, you're guilty. Okay.
Yeah.
So you do that a lot, right?
Why do you
Well,
do that?
first of all, I like to listen to music when I take a bath. So that's one. Like I listen to calming music, and then what else is there to do? Sometimes back in the day, my dad, who might be hearing me, whenever he goes to the toilet, he brings magazines, something to
Whoa.
read. Right, right. So being productive, offloading but being productive. So that's the difference.
Wow. You mean reading the
Like,
whole magazine? That's interesting.
I think it's just something to read or just something to fascinate himself while doing the thing. But I think there's nothing bad about it. It's
my
being
dad
productive,
does that. Yeah, he reads the morning newspaper every time he
right?
wants. But now that they have the cell phones, it's the cell phones that they take to the bathroom. But
Yeah,
I don't
watch some
do that.
NBA highlight.
Okay, Josh, I am coming to you with the same question I asked the partner. What
Mm-hmm.
would be your reaction when your partner just uses the phone every time you're with her? It's your moment, you want to have it, they
Yeah.
just use the phone. What would you do?
Can break his heart.
Reaction?
So I would suggest that every time we will have a date next time, we might consider leaving our phones in the car.
What if she comes with it again? It's a habit. What if it's a
Yeah,
habit?
yeah. I would communicate how I feel about it, and because she loves me, of course she would consider, right? Sing.
That
Yeah.
that's you.
Do you love
That
me?
that's for you to answer if she loves you or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you
Okay.
not, do this, do
Any
that?
any advice for Jen and Josh? You might help them to bridge the gap they're having in their relationship.
My advice would be like what Jenny said earlier, is to really go back to their life goals, also the direction of their life. Being in a relationship is one of the greatest thing a person could experience in life, but if it's they have to be aligned with their purpose, with their season, and they have to reevaluate. They have to work on, I would advise them to work on their timelines and what do they want to achieve in life. And if they see each other spending a lifetime together, they should work towards that. Yeah.
Great advice from our experts,
Think
Josh. Uh,
expert.
yep. What about you, Fritz? Any advice for them too?
If I would be their friend, my advice would
Are you
be
hold on? Are you playing the Mark friend or just a friend?
just
if
a
I
friend.
was
you
Mark.
you might be Mark suggesting
If
to
I would be Mark, I would report to Josh about what Jen's trying to do.
But Josh will
Uh,
tell you, why did you brought her to a fancy restaurant?
I'm not gonna agree on that. First,
Okay.
I would submit to him as early as she reached out to me, and but yeah, if they would want to continue and pursue the relationship together, they have the time in their hands to reevaluate themselves first. Like if they're willing to compromise whatever that needs to be, adjusted, because it's love will take so much from you,
Got
and
you.
the question would be,
So
are you willing to?
the next question would be I'm coming to you, Fritz. Josh. Jenny, sorry. Jenny,
Yeah.
can taking a break during an argument be a constructive way to cool off, or does it risk causing more harm than good? So, how do you manage your anger, Jenny, when you're
I
angry?
I would say it's a good thing to do to let off steam if you're really in a tight situation. If you're angry, your initial reaction would be like spew out hurtful words that you cannot take back anymore. So it's better to cool off first and settle the argument once both of you are all cooled down and are able to manage your emotions, and you'd be able to settle things in
How,
a more mature way.
how do you manage your anger? Do you cool off? You just wait for some minutes, or do you
I
just go for a
I
walk or
go for a
something?
walk. I go for a walk because
Wow.
I remove myself from the situation because I really hate being in an argument. That's just me being like having a, like I love my peace. I'm a peace loving person, so I don't want to get involved in any argument. And when I'm forced to be in it, I take myself out of the situation, cool down first, so I'd be able to gather my thoughts, be able to handle my situation, and be more logical in resolving the situation that I'm in.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Josh, go first.
Yeah, that's
Go
good.
ahead.
How Jenny manages her anger and
Do you,
negative emotions. Agree.
it, will you take what do you call it? Will you stop using your 5 minute rule and take Jenny's way?
I think that's in principle is the same. The thing with the 5 minute rule is that uh, when your partner sees you like angry, you just give her time because the thing is when you're in a fight or when you're in a conflict and then you suddenly walk out, that could actually be a trigger also. But when you communicate that I will be back after a certain time, it means that you're not walking away from the situation or you're just gonna gather yourself. So I think a break is a good principle. You gather yourself and you also practice empathy uh, with the partner. Be curious about where could she might be coming from, and then when you re-engage, yeah, you now have a better sense of the situation, not just of your side but even of her side.
Don't just storm out without letting the other person know where you're going, or I just walk out without any word. I mean, it's
Maybe
just
maybe
like
you're
maybe
just trying like
handle this right now. Right now, I'm going for a walk. Let's settle this later on when we're both cool.
maybe you're trying to just not talk much because you've already had a conflict, and the more you talk, more
Yeah, it
the
will
more you
take practice.
what kind of practice though that would help
Yeah,
that.
practicing those words. Or if you want sign language, every time I do this, it means I'm gonna go and be back.
Yeah.
Will you be using your finger and like just maybe waving or something? Do you
Like
Face
understand?
there's a
palm.
bell in the
Hello.
house. There's a bell in the house that you would ring if you're angry.
Now you're
Ding ding ding.
introducing bells?
But it would look like a boxing match, bro. Round one.
Wow. Are you the one who is introducing the bell, Fritz? Or is Josh?
Great.
That's interesting. So anytime you want to leave the house when you're in an argument, just ring the bell.
there's
They
Yeah.
understand.
gonna there's gonna be
Nice.
a
Like
round girl
like the
there.
hotel bell, the
On this,
bellboy guy, the bellboy thing.
If the bell is rang, then everybody knows that you're angry. You should be leaving.
What if it rings like 5 times a day? That's a lot of noise in the house. That's a lot of noise in the house. So, what's your take on this, Fritz? Was it Fritz who answered or Josh?
It was free.
Josh, your take on that?
On the bell? Which
Hmm.
one?
Not on the
Well,
bell.
that's a
Cheers.
good
Oh,
that's a good suggestion. I want to try that.
oh, you can try that and you will tell us what happened in our next episode. You just by the bell, then put it to practice. Then you will tell us the experience, right?
Yeah, you will do.
Okay, guys. Time is running out, so
Aw.
I want everyone to answer this. I'm going to you, Josh, first give your insights on this. What are your final thoughts or tips do you have for our listeners in the journey to bridge the gap in all kind of relationship?
Yeah, my thoughts would be to really work on communication. So along communication, there will be empathy. There will be the skills on how to handle conflicts. To bridge that gap, there must be a direction also for both parties. They have to agree on where they want to bring the relationship, and if they're ready to take it to the next level, they have to have the necessary maturity to take it there. So yeah.
Wow. So that's from our experts, Josh and Jenny. What would you advise our listeners to do when they want to bridge the gap in their relationship?
Yeah, so I believe really communication is the key in any kind of relationship because that's where you build your relationship around. It's being able to, how do you say this? Being comfortable in your own skin and be able to share your emotions and your thoughts well with others.
Fritz?
My take on this is that I listened to a lot of talks of Jordan Peterson, and I got this, and this is applicable to any relationships, especially like having partners. Is that do not be afraid to take the difficult conversations early, because that's gonna determine, like what I'm saying earlier, how much would you be willing to compromise? Because if you will not take the have the hard or difficult conversations now, you'll not gonna have it later, because you're just gonna avoid and evade all of the things that needs to be settled, or the holes that needs to be patched up, and just save it for later until it piles up and then just explodes. So yeah, having the difficult conversations now than later.
Okay,
Nice.
great. Any shout outs you wanna give to your friends, wife, husband, friends? Anyone?
Go, Jenny.
Go, Jenny.
Shout out to my husband and to my female friends out there who'd be listening to this podcast.
Ah,
You go, guys.
Fritz? Yeah, go ahead. Give the shout out to your friend, to your girlfriend, Fritz.
yeah. Shout out to my girlfriend who's currently listening right now. Forgive me if I said something that you did not like, but yeah.
I don't
Shout out
want
to
you
my
to get
family
in
and friends
trouble
as well.
though.
No, but we're gonna
Yeah.
have the difficult conversations, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Josh,
Shout out to my wife also listening.
I hope you didn't get in trouble by saying
Yeah.
anything.
And shout out to a new way of doing some bells.
That's
Anyway,
interesting. Okay, thank you to our listeners, to our panelists for sharing your valuable insights. And remember, every relationship has its challenges, but with an open communication and also commitment to understanding, you can bridge those gaps. See you on the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.